And in that case, you immediately see the problem. So just imagine you have 20 compilation errors that are related to arrays. You go to those 20 points in code, not just all the arrays in the application, only the 20 arrays that are problematic. You see how the arrays is used in the code, and you see, for example, that the for I that goes to 1 to U bound is the dominant. Demonstration I'm going to give is a very small case, of course. It's not very small, it's about 10,000 lines of code, so it's not really small. It's small compared to the real world cases, of course. But it allows me to show the convert test fix methodology in action. What is convert test fix? Thanks to pragmas, and this is again, this is the secret of the entire game. Thanks to pragma, we can use this approach. Okay, let's say we start with the VB6 code base. The first thing we do, we convert that to VB.NET using our tool. You test it in the sense that we load it inside Visual Studio, and we will find some errors. We fix the error, and this is the key point. How do we fix errors? Exclusively by means of pragmas. In our methodology, if you want to adopt our methodology, because it's optional, but we warmly recommend it, especially for large projects. If you adhere to this, abide by this technology, methodology, it's absolutely forbidden for you to modify the VB.NET code, the target language code. Whatever you do to fix the problem must be done in the original VB6 code exclusively by means of pragma. No, you never change an executable statement in VB6. And our story, even if we are on the market for more than 2 years and a half right now, but our story proves that it is possible. We have built this set of more than 80 pragmas, and we can prove, our customers actually prove that they were able to fix virtually, I mean, there are very, very few cases when they needed to modify the original source code. It's important, so they modify the code, but only because they are adding a comment, a remark. And therefore, this is very important, because we don't want our customers to, in order to have a better translation, to modify the source code. Because if they modify the source code, ideally they should go through the same debug and test and thing. We don't want them to go to that path. We want to fix the VB.NET problem by adding one or more pragmas, which are just remarks, and therefore it's guaranteed that the VB6 code doesn't need to be retested. Yes?
Is there cases when you have to change the target code?
This is what we don't want to happen, and so far we haven't found a case when, I mean, it's as if conceptually you want to modify the target. The constraint you have to adhere to, if you use our approach, is that you refrain from doing that, and everything is done by pragmas. We have very, very powerful pragmas, not just for arrays, for as new variables, for to compensate for differences in either the syntax or the semantics of the statement. And again, so far, for example, the guys who are doing the monster translations, 50 million lines of code, they so far have translated probably more than 10 million, something like that. 9 million, 10 million, more or less. And they have done that exclusively by means of pragmas.
What is, from your experience, what is the percentage of, after the conversion is done, what is the percentage of changing the target code?
Ideally, zero. Ideally, okay. I would say the actual answer, the actual question that nobody has asked, but I ask myself, so that I will prove you that our product is not perfect. there are, as I said, there are very few cases when you need to modify the source code, or either the source code or the target code. It's up to you. Okay?
No, because if you change the target code, you cannot convert again.
Exactly. So if you do that, it must happen after you have reached functional equivalence. So basically, it should happen only when you are improving the result.
After you finish with the...
After you have run all your tests. Because this is a very important point. Many migration projects have failed for this. So just, this should be carved in the stone. When you have a migration project, the worst error, the worst mistake you can make is trying to migrate and improve the application at the same time. It can be an optimization improvement, can be a functional improvement. This is a no, 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 no. You have to migrate, reach the functional equivalence, and we will give you the means to prove that. And only then, even if the application runs, there are cases, very, very frustrating at first. You have an application that works, but it runs 100 times slower, really, 100 times slower. And the reason is you probably neglected the warnings that DB migration partner that giving you. Okay, he said, look, this is a place where strings are not used correctly, so probably you want to improve that. Okay, so even if you see that the application runs very, very slowly, and it takes 1 minute to load the first form, nevertheless, you have to, your first goal, only goal in that phase of the migration, your first and only goal should be proving that you have reached functional equivalence. Once you are there, everything is easier. Okay, so going back to the problem.
Stress this issue.
Yes.
The importance of this.
And I take the opportunity.
Yes.
Thank you.
The importance
Non ce l'ho
of
già.
this methodology.
Di che i pragma sono tutti documentati sul nostro
Sì,
sito.
sì, ma ora lo faccio vedere.
Revolutionary actually, because what you can do is just by not changing the source code, but just adding comments, pragmas, you can actually get into migrated code within a single project. That means that you have a single source.
If you want to speak Hebrew, I mean, yeah, sure.
הקונספט הזה הוא מאוד מהפכני, חשוב לי שתבינו את הרעיון הזה, כי זה אחד הפיצ'רים שאין שום כלי אחר שעושה, זה באמת עושים את הכלי הזה במוביל בנוסף לעוד כמה פיצ'רים. הרי בתהליך הגירה, בואו נדבר שנייה על פרויקט הגירה מאוד מורכב, שיכול לקחת כמה חודשים טובים, אולי אפילו שנה. יש לכם שתי מערכות בעצם, יש לכם מערכת ה-VB6 שהיא חיה, קיימת, יש לכם תיקונים, באגים שם, אתם צריכים לתחזק אותה. רון, אתה רוצה בינתיים לעשות... אתם צריכים לתחזק אותה. מצד שני, יש לכם כבר קוד VB.NET חדש שעדיין צריך לייצב אותו. ובעצם יש לכם שני branches שמתישהו הם צריכים להיפגש, ואז הוספתם פה פיצ'ר, אתם צריכים כבר להוסיף פה, מתחיל להיות סלט שלם. הסלט הזה,
Cari, ricordami di dirgli a Shahar che se devo fare il video facesse due versioni, perché se voglio mettere su YouTube noi dobbiamo togliere le parti in ebraico, cioè queste parti qui, non quelle, non la singola.
אז אני אבקש שנעצור על זה קצת, אבל בעזרת הפרגמות הוא מגיע למצב כזה, שיש לכם מערכת VB6, אתם מריצים הגירה, אתם מייצבים את הקוד, רואים את הארורים ורואים את הקומפיליישן קוד, שגם כן דרך אגב הם הרבה יותר מועטים מכלים אחרים, ויש נתונים על כך, מחקרים שמראים. אתם מייצבים את הקוד לא בעזרת זה שאתם מתקנים את הקוד VB.NET, ואפילו לא בעזרת זה שאתם מתקנים את הקוד VB6. אתם מייצבים את זה בעזרת פרגמות שקיימות. וגם אם אתם תגיעו לאיזושהי מסקנה שצריך לשנות את הקוד המקור, או צריך לשנות את הקוד המוסר, תעצרו פה ותחשבו איפה אולי אתם טועים ותיקחו ייעוץ מאיתנו, מפרנצ'סקו, לא חשוב איך להגיע למצב שבעזרת פרגמות אתם מייצבים את הקוד. כי זה מה שיאפשר לכם בסופו של דבר להיות בפרויקט אחד שבסופו של דבר ביום אחד תוכלו לרדת בלי לתחזק שני מקורות קוד. זה חוסך המון מהעלויות של הפרויקט הגירה, זה חוסך המון מהמורכבות של פרויקט הגירה, ובעצם ומוריד המון גם מהסיכונים של פרויקט הזה, והופך אותו לאפשרי. אז זה אחד היסודות המרכזיים של המתודולוגיה שלהם, והכלי, ה-Convert Test Fix הזה והשימוש בפרגמנט.